Well, we're still waiting.
Okay, you don't see nothing?
No. We're not live yet.
It says right here, I'm live. Let's see what happens. Try this one more time. I'm going to keep doing this, buddy. Uh-oh. I am officially in the game. Too many of these up. Get rid of this one. Oh, that's StreamYard. I want to get rid of him. Get rid of this one. All right, are you able to hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, I'm here. Relocate our people. All right, look like I'm in the game. Okay. Uh, it's, it took me 40, it took me 45 it took me 45 minutes to get online. 45 minutes, man. I'm creeped. I'm creeped out by me. I'm creeped out by me, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and do my lesson anyway, because that's just what you're supposed to do. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start it from the top. And again, the title of this piece is White Turks Posing as Ancient Moabites. White Turks posing as ancient Moabites. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start this from the very beginning. Let's see, at the stage. Oh, I want that one. Hold on. I want this one. So we're going to start it off just like this. Now, what you at the stage. Now, what you guys are looking at first, I'm Lee Cummings. Hey, if you came back, if you come back, I don't blame you if you don't. But I'm gonna do this lesson anyway because I'm stubborn. So I decided I did a YouTube piece last week. It got something like almost 3,000 views in the first 7 days, and it was dealing with the Black Arabs that had got displaced out of the Middle East. And so I decided I'd come back this week and I would try to go live. And you can see what happened. I was like completely frustrated. But at the end of the day, I got this thing to work. Today, I want to focus on how when you look down into Arabia, or what the Anglo-Saxons have labeled as the Middle East, you see all these whites or these Anglo-Saxons running around Arabia. And if you didn't know any better, you wouldn't even question it. And so, as you can see on my screen, this is an image of some Jordanian women, some women from Jordan. And they look like what? They look like Anglo-Saxons. And again, if you didn't understand, if you didn't know who Shem was, and you didn't understand the artifacts or had never seen the artifacts from that region of the world, you would be deceived. Now, we're going to show you from other artifacts that we're going to show you what you're looking at. Here is an artifact of the king and the queen of Jordan. And if you see the artifact, and you see they look like what? Look like Europeans, Anglo-Saxons. But these are leftover Turks from the Ottoman Turk Empire. I think it was Suleiman the Great or Suleiman the Magnificent who invaded Arabia right around 1550, 1570. And he deported all the Arabs from the region, and he replaced them with Turkish people. This is documented world history. And check this out. The word Arab itself, Arab, A-R-A-B, means evening. It means evening. It has another meaning. Like if you saw the word for locust, you would see the word Arbi. It's still spelled Arab, but they pronounced it in Hebrew as pronounced Arbi. But the word for evening, like nighttime, is Arab. And you can see these people don't even look like what? Like their names. Now, to the right of the artifact, to the right of the king and the princess, there's an image of an Ammonite. Now, this Ammonite was the brother of Moab. Lot had the two sons, Moab and Ammon. And Moab was cursed because Moab blasphemed Yahweh or the Lord, and he fought against the people of Yishrael, not Israel. There's no such thing as Israel. There's no Y in the Hebrew alphabet. So you go back and look at the original stones and the ancient manuscripts, what you will see is Yishrael. Now, I want to read you a verse from Jeremiah, the 48th chapter. And since I'm going this by myself today, I'm going to pick it up. I want to read a couple of verses. I'm going to pick it up at verse 40. Jeremiah 48 and 40. For thus saith the Lord, behold, or thus saith Yahweh, behold, he shall fly as an eagle and shall spread his wings over Moab. But and funny thing about the spelling for the word Moab in the original text is spelled Moab, like M-O-B, M-A-B, Mab, or Moab. Verse 41, Kiapruitt is taken, and the strongholds are surprised, and the mighty men's hearts in Moab at that day shall be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. Now, this the verse, and this is the reason why with all the research that I was able to do, I could find 0 artifacts of a Moabite king, man, woman, or child. I could find 0 artifacts. Verse 42, and Moab shall be destroyed from being a people, because he hath magnified himself against the Yahweh or the Lord. He shall be destroyed from being what? From being a people. But I couldn't find any artifacts. I went to chat and I asked chat, I said, hey, were the Moabites cursed? And chat directed me to this scripture. I didn't even know this scripture was in the Bible. And I've been doing this a long time. So the next best thing that I could do was find an image of Moab's brother, Ammon. I don't really want to get into the story of Ammon and Moab, how they came to be born. You go back and read the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, and read the story about Lot and his 2 daughters, and you'll understand why I glossed over this. But Ammon and Moab were the 2 sons of Lot. Lot was the nephew of Abraham. So they were all what you call Semitic or Shemites. So I said, well, I'll go get a picture of this boy right here, Ammon. You figure the brother would have to look like his brother. So you can see from the artifact that this image of this unknown Ammonite king does not resemble these white Turks that's in the land right now. And they don't blush at this because they don't think that anybody understands what's going on. So these people just continue on in this madness. This next artifact that you see on your screen, you should be looking at an artifact that shows the Moabite steel. Now, this Moabite steel is very unique. It's very unique, and it's like a real live time capsule. In so much that it shows. You can see my little cursor. It shows Mab or Moab, M-A-B, Moab. You spell it. They spell it M-O-A-B, but in the original text it's M-A-B. This is the Moabite steel. It has a carbon dating of anywhere from 825 to 750 BC. This is how old this Aramaic stone is. And then right here, if you're a scholar and you can read and write and translate, I don't want to do a run-on sentence, so let me say it correctly. If you can read, write, translate, and speak Hebrew, this is a really good stone for you to practice on. This was one of the first stones I learned how to read. I used to call this my training wheel. And I've been reading these stones for about 11 years. Let me see, 2011. That's 15 years now. Anyway, let me get back to the business at hand. Right here, I think it's line 4 is the name for Omri, Omry, the king of Yisrael. The word Israel, you will never find it on any ancient stones. You won't find it on none of the coins, the shekels, none of the money, none of the engravings. You will only find the name Yisrael. Now, Yisrael appears here, and then right here appears the name Gad, Gamil Dalet Gad. Gad was one of the tribes of Israel. So you have to have some understanding when you read the Moabites still, because the Bible tells you what parts of Moab that the Israelite tribes inhabited. So, when I move on to the next screen, I almost forgot. If you look at the bottom of my presentation, and you'll see some Hebrew letters right here, the Mem and the Het. MH, which means macha, or it means to blot out. So the Most High blotted out these Moabites. I mean, they've been basically blotted out from history. Not just the fact that you don't have any artifacts. It's the fact that when you look down in the Middle East, guess what? You can't find it. Just like you look down there, you can't find what? You can't find the Yisrael of your Bible. A long time ago, these Anglo-Saxon archaeologists went down into the tombs of the pharaohs of the 12th and the 18th dynasty of Egypt. They go down in the 12th dynasty. They said, we don't see Joseph nowhere. They went down to the 18th dynasty, around 1496 BC. We don't see any images of the Jews. So they came back, and the report was that the Bible was a lie. That was not the case. The problem that they had was when they went and they looked on the walls of the tombs of these pharaohs, guess what? These were, like the sister said earlier, these were melanated people, commonly known as black people. But that's not the lesson today, and we're not really into that. So today, I want to focus on the reading of the stones. Because it's critical that we got a lot of brothers. They say they scholars. I hear people speaking Hebrew. A lot of the brothers. I hear them saying shalom, and I hear some saying bokatah. Like good morning. But you never hear a shemo alakay aki almaim. You never hear them speaking in sentence structure or paragraphs. They could utter a word here and a word there. Had a conversation with a brother at a McDonald's. The elder had been teaching 50 years. He told me that on the Moabite still, he was right. He said on the Moabite still, you could find the tetragram. And here it is right here. Line 18, it says the Lamid Yad Hey. No, Lamid Yah Hey Wah Hey, which is Yahweh. I said, so he started arguing with me about vowel points. And I said, there are no vowel points on none of the ancient stones, the money and nothing. I was trying to explain that to him, but because he was ignorant of our father's alphabet and the language, I had to stop talking to him. And so I learned from that situation, just because a person knows one word, 2 words, or 3 words does not mean he knows or understands the language. And that's not even the lesson today. That's just a sidebar. But let's go a little further in this. So these people were cursed that they would be no more a nation and a people. And the word of the Lord is true. Yahweh's word would catch you. He said, my word's going to go forth. He said, it will not return unto me empty. I'm going to go a little further in this. I'm going to stop sharing this. And I want to share this. I want to go back over here and show you another thing. Now, remember earlier, I got to go back and share. Remember earlier, I told you that that King Omri appeared on this Moabite still. You know, we got a lot of people running around here saying there's no evidence of the existence of Israel or Yisrael outside the Bible. Well, this stone right here, you know, I tell people all the time, I got a lesson I do. I could preach Yisrael, the kings of Judah and Israel, and the Messiah from the stones in the manuscripts. I don't need the Bible as a source. I could use all the artifacts. But anyway, look at this stone. And it says right here, Omri, O-M-R, Aleph, no, An, Mem, Resh, Yad, Omri, Malak, King, Yad, Shin, Resh, Aleph, Lamed, the king of Yisrael. And so it mentions Israel how many times on this? Now, I just want to focus on this stone right quick. I know the lesson or the title of the lesson is we're supposed to be dealing with how these Anglo-Saxon or what they call white Turks took over the kingdom of Jordan, ancient Moab. But on my way to doing that, I want to highlight some things on these ancient stones. Yisrael's name is mentioned 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times on this stone. The mighty name of Yisrael. This was Yaqub. Yaqub, or Jacob's name, was changed to Yisrael. And so this proves that the name Yisrael was a real historical name, and the nation was a real historical people. I want to leave here and go to another stone. I want to go and take a look. Now, actually, not a stone this time. This time, what I want to look at is this is probably, I mean, I like the Moabites still, but this right here is one of the best stills that we can see right now. Can you hear and see me? Let me send a message on it. Are you able? This is what we call the Dead Sea Scrolls. This is the Dead Sea Scrolls. And this is one of the great treasures that we have in our possession tonight. Because this scroll right here, it validates or gives credence to the Moabite stele. And this stone, this Dead Sea Scroll was found in the Qumran caves. It's called the Leviticus Scroll, 11Q1. You can look this up and you can fact check me. But check it out. The name Yisrael, Yad, Shin, Resh, Aleph, Lamed, Yad, Shin, Resh, Aleph, Lamed, Yad, Shin, Resh, Aleph, Lamed. Again, 3 times on here. So we have the Moabite stele, written in Aramaic, and that mentions Yisrael, King Omri. And we got the Dead Sea Scrolls, another primary source mentioning Yisrael, again, proving the existence of the Israelites outside of your Bible. I want to go a little further than this. I feel like I like this. I screwed it up. It ain't your fault. It's my fault. And I got to get better at this. That's all. That's the way I see it. Okay. I want to see if I got another stone that will. So far I got an ancient stone, and I got an ancient manuscript, Dead Sea Scrolls, that validate the existence of Israel. Now, this stone right here is called the Tel Dan stone, and I apologize that I didn't label this stone. But this Tel Dan stone has a lot on it. In fact, it's got King Jehoram, King Ahab, and King David's name on the stone. Right now, I want to visit that. I want to show you that on this stone, here's Yisrael again. Yad, Shin, Resh, Aleph, Lamed. Yad, Shin, Resh, Aleph, Lamed. So Yisrael, or what you call Israel, is mentioned twice on this stone. And Dawad, David. You spell David, D-A-V-I-D, but these ancient stones spell it Dalet, Wal, Dalet, Dawad. Now check this out. Let's go back over here to another stone. No, I don't want to go that way. I want to go this way. Now, remember, the Tel Dan still showed Dawad, David, D-W-D, Dawad. And it mentions, it mentions Ariel Dawad, A-R-A-L Dawad, which is Ariel David. And I think we got a scripture for you. Isaiah, for some inexplicable reason. Let me see if I got it. Can you hear me, Lee? I think it's 29. Yeah. Isaiah 29:1 says, woe to Ariel or Ariel, to Ariel, the city where David dwelt. So this stone, the Moabite steel, is mentioned in David's city, Ariel or Ariel David. And that was in Isaiah 29:1, and it appears on this stone as well. Now check this out. There are other names that appear here. Come on back here. Where you going? There are other names that appear here. And one of those is Nabi, Dibon, Aurora, Arnon. So these were habitations. Come on back here. I got this little touch. I got this touch computer, and I got these big hands. Oh, I didn't even have my screen on. I apologize. As I was saying, this Moabite steel not only does it have David's name on it, A-R-A-L, Dawad, it also has Adarat on it. It has Gad on it. It has Nabi. It has Dibon, Aurora, and Arnon. All these places are places where the tribes of Israel dwell. Now check this out. Gad built Dibon, Adarat, and Aurora. Now these names show up on here, and and you say, well, what's so significant about it? Because it proves that the Israelites were in the land of Moab before the Assyrians came in and overran the place in 722 BC. I want to pick this up at Numbers 33 and 45. Numbers 33 and 45 to show you the reason Gad's name is mentioned on this stone, because it says right here. It says, I'm going to pick it up, start reading up here. It says, Aban, he built, or a stone built at Carton, a temple, Ash, Gad, Gamil Dalet, Yishbi, which means he inhabited at Atarat. So the book said he built Atarat. No, the stone says he built Atarat. So when I go to Numbers 33 and 45, let's see, does the scriptures validate what the stone says? I'm gonna pick it up actually. In verse. Pick it up in verse 30. I'm gonna pick it up at Numbers 32 and 37. Reuben built Nebo. Numbers 32. No, I'm picking this up at. I do this all the time, so don't freak out when you see this. I'm gonna pick it up at verse 33. Numbers 32 and 33. And Moses gave unto them even to the children of Gad, and to the children of Reuben, and to the half tribe of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, the kingdom of Sihon, king of Amorites. I don't want to read all that. Verse 34. And the children of Gad built Dibon, and Adarat, and Aurora. So you can see what the stone is saying, that Gad Yishbi inhabited at Adarat, right? And then you come down here, you'll see that he was at Dibon, he was at Aurora, and he was at Arnon. And you say, well, why is this significant? Because we're gonna have two more tribes wherever, even though the Moabites only mention Gad. Check this out. We know from the book that Reuben and Manasseh was there also. Now watch this. Verse 37. And Reuben built Heshbon, Eliah, and Keratham, and Nebo, and Baal Meon, these names being changed. So anyway, so we got Reuben here, and we got Gad here. We got Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh, even though the stone only mentions Gad. But we got these three tribes. Now, if I went back to 33, 32, and 2, it's going to say, Numbers 32 and 2. The children of Gad, the children of Reuben came and spake unto Moses. I don't read all that. They wanted, verse 3, Adarat, Dibon, Jazer, Nimrah, Heshbon, Eliah, Shabam, Nebo, and Beoni. So all these places are mentioned on this stone. So we got really, instead of just seeing the nation or the tribe Gad in the Jordan, ancient Jordan, well, modern Jordan, ancient Moab, there are three other tribes, actually, when they mentioned Arel David, they mentioned Judah. So you got Gad on the stone, you got Judah subliminally being mentioned, and you got Reuben and Manasseh being mentioned on these stones. And there's another piece of literature. There's another piece of another valuable sentence on this stone. That's what I'm trying to say. That makes mentions that these Moabites used Israelite prisoners to build some of these cities. And I want to go in and see the end of line 25. Let me see what it says. Line 25. Where is it at? As big as I can get it. I'm going to read this. All right. Line 25 over here. You see it? 25. It says, let me make sure. Let me make sure I'm sharing. Let me make sure I'm sharing. I don't want to get here and not be sharing. Hey, I appreciate. Hey, I'm gonna pause for a second and answer this brother right here, or this Tazak. Hey, thanks for hanging in there with me. I got to get the hang of going live. All right, so now I want y'all to see this new piece, and you can comment on it. Hey, you want to comment on the piece? Comment on the piece, because I get off on it. I'm more of an interactive person. I don't need to do a lot of talking. I'd rather interact with the people. Now, check this out. This line right here says it's line 26. Now, line 26 says Yisrael. No, it's line 25. I'm sorry, y'all. It says Misha. I'll pick it up at 24. So he says Ashu, do him. So 25. Do him you, comma, ash, a temple. Then he uses the word bara for create, like beret, for created, right? And then he says Bayet or Beth, right here. Beth Yad Tah, hey, which is a house. Then he says Wal Anaki, I Karati, I made this. And he says it again. I made what? La ko kera het, which means a city. So he said, I made this city. And then he uses the bet, which means in and with Asar. Asar means prisoners. Just like I was wondering, just like they use the name Assyria. And it make you wonder, was that the reason why our fathers called it Assyria? Was that the original name? Because the word Assyria means prisoners. And what happened to our fathers in 722? They went into the Assyrian captivities. So what this brother's saying is he used As Alif Samak Resh. He used prisoners, Asar of Yisrael, Yad, Shin, Resh, Alif, Lamid. He used these prisoners from Yisrael, Anaki, Bon T, or Bonati, which means he built Ara, just like the book said. So even though now you can tell that this king is doing some lying, because according to the Bible, the scriptures, Gad built Ara, and Gad built Arnon, and Gad built Dibon. Gad built all these places. So this had to be written after our fathers had been displaced by the Assyrians. But again, this stone has a carbon dating of 850 to 750 BC. The Assyrian captivity took place in 722. But this is a critical piece for any true scholar. And again, if you learning how to read, write, speak, translate, speak Hebrew, this is a good training wheel for you. Now, let me see what else I got for you. I'm gonna go ahead and act like, hey, let me see what else I got. Now this is we were here earlier, but I came back to the Tel Dan still because this thing shows David's name here, but I could focus on this as well. You know, like now this is a weird steel. Actually, it's a stone. This is a weird stone. This stone was broken. So it's like when you're reading the lines, man, you got to stay focused because you think you're reading line 3. Pardon me. Can you see it? Okay, hold on. I'm getting. I can't see Vab. Let me go back over here and see what happened. Share my screen. Share my screen. Window. Okay. Share my screen. Can you see it now? Okay. So this again, I'm gonna do a rewind, stop, rewind, play. Boom. Ready? Go. So this stone right here, it mentions MLK Yad on the end, me, the king of Yisrael. Okay. And then he talks about Abi, my father, the king Hadad. So Hadad is mentioned on this stone as well, but he's not even a person of importance to me. So it says right here, Asari, or the Assyrians, or it could be prisoners. I haven't taken the time out to translate this stone because it says in Alifi. Actually, it does mean prisoners because, come on, man, what are you doing? Hey, the computer's playing with me today. It's like, it's a game. What's going on, computer? Anyway, as we get back to the piece, can you see the screen?
No.
Okay, can't see the screen. Let me see why. Hold on, y'all. I want to make sure you can see the artifact. Good shot. It's good to have another set of eyes. Close by. What about now? Are you able to see the screen? Oh, I see what it's doing. It's like when I leave, it's leaving. What about now? Okay. Now, according to my trusty assistant, you can see my screen. Now check this out. This screen shows the word. This is how I know that this Assyri is not. He's not talking about Assyria. He's talking about Asar. Remember, we said Asar on the other stone meant prisoner, and there's another word in here that reinforces that. So he says, with a Alethi, which is 1,000 perish, 1,000 captives, because the word perish means captives. It means captives, and so this stone is talking about these prisoners. But then it comes down here and it talks about Dawah, David. Then it talks. I'm gonna go ahead and blow this up anyway so I can see, because I don't want you to go back and say, "Hey, dude didn't know how to read the stones," because I can't. So it says right here, this line on the Tel Dan stone, it says, the king of Israel, Karna, he Karna what? Yahuram, King Yahuram, or you call him King Jehoram, but the correct pronunciation is Yahuram, and it says Rabbi, or actually it looks like it says Bearer or Beret, created Ahab, King Ahab. Then it comes down and it mentions Jehoram or Jehoram's name again. It mentions King David. This is a very invaluable stone as well, because this stone also proves the existence of Israel outside of the Bible. I wish I had came on right today, because this is a tight piece, man. Check this out. I want to go a little further than this. Everybody, everybody talking about they can read, right? They can read the stones. They can do all this. Man, show me. Stop talking about it. Show me. I'm from the show. I'm not from Missouri. I would be lying. I was getting ready to say I'm from the show me state. No, I'm not. I'm from Dodge Bullet, Chicago. You better have your running shoes on when you go out the house where I live at. It's a wrap. Anyway, now we was talking about Brother David. So David's name, I'm basically breaking down the stones. I think I showed you the Dead Sea Scrolls with Israel's name on it. I could have went deeper. I could have showed you Moses' name and Aaron's name on the Dead Sea Scrolls, but that's not why we're here today. Keep coming. Don't be mad at me. I know that I went blank, but I didn't give up. That ought to count for something, right? Anyway, here go David again, his name. We have an artifact of David, King David, Nathan, and Bathsheba that comes to you from the Bristol Psalter, or the British Psalter, in the British Library in London. And these brothers, the Black Brits, painted these brothers as melanated people, as Black people. This is invaluable, this artifact right here. I mean, if you didn't show up for nothing else, this is an invaluable artifact. I got something to close. I tell people all the time, my library is probably better. I wouldn't trade my library with some of the museums I've been to. I got better artifacts. Maybe I should start renting out my artifacts. What you think? They think I'm playing. Something's wrong with him. Okay, hold on. Let me see what I'm doing now. You get carried away, start playing. Okay, add to stage. Okay, add to stage. All right, can you see my new artifact? Yeah, I can see it. Okay, let's go back. Okay. Now, remember what I told you. There were 3 tribes only 2 of the tribes were mentioned on this stone. Actually, I have to stop saying that. You know why? Because remember, how many tribes were in Israel? There were 10 tribes in Israel. So when you look at this stone and you see the name Yisrael, they forgot to tell you. Remember, Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, lost the 10 tribes right after Solomon's death. You know, y'all know the conversation. Hey, the old man told him, he said, man, just speak real softly to this people. Don't be mean. He said, they'll serve you all your life. He listened to the young guys in his generation. And the 10 tribes didn't like what he had to say. So the 10 tribes left. And then that's when Jeroboam began to rule over the 10 tribes in Samaria. And Solomon's son, David's grandson, ruled over Benjamin, Judah, and Levi. So to condense my little story, when you see the word Yisrael on these ancient stones, you're talking about 10 tribes. And so when you see David, Judah, you talking about Benjamin, Judah, and Levi. But when I see the name Yisrael, I got understanding. This stone is telling me that the 10 tribes were in existence. You know, this is what we used to say in math. It was called an algorithm. You had to solve for X. Sometimes you have to back into the answer. But anyway, so Gad built Adarot. Let me make sure. You go a little further in this. Now, this artifact that I'm about to show you, is probably one of the best artifacts. Well, I say that about all my artifacts, but this one's one. I like this one the most. Well, not the most, but I like this one because this artifact right here, what's so unique about this artifact is that most of the major museums in the world have these artifacts in their possession. Like, check this out. Hold on, I'm gonna respond to this brother. I'm just so happy that some of y'all stayed with me, man. Boy, if we was all in the room together, I'd pour y'all a glass of wine. Real talk. Hold on, where my man's at? Hey, he says, what up, Lee Cummings? I got all the books except for your language Hebrew book. I know I heard you say something about a white history book you were working on. Is that still happening? Yeah. I want to do. Hey, I'm gonna put a pause on the lesson, and I'm gonna hang out with my mans for a minute. We gonna do that. We gonna do a piece called "The Footsteps of the White Race." Now I'm gonna change the title because I know y'all black people are smart. They take your title and run with it themselves. So I don't know what a title I'm gonna settle on, but when we do the piece, we're going to show y'all there's a reason why the Europeans or the Anglo-Saxons don't have White History Month. They don't want you to know their humble beginnings. I'll throw you a breadcrumb because you stayed with me tonight. What have I told you? They've only been speaking a known language for 1,000 years. And this comes from the professors, the eyewitnesses in their generation that don't look like me. Maybe that'll be our next piece. I think that'll turn them out. What you think? But again, yeah, I think that's a good question. And the answer is yes. And I just got to get around to putting it together. I got it together in my mind. I just got to put it on paper. And I see you, Zadik. Man, that's love, brothers. Hey, check this out. Now you see, now I'm gonna go back to the piece. You see this, brother, this artifact on your screen. This is the Assyrian deporting the Israelites. Remember, when you hear the word Yisrael, now even I put it on the screen as Israel, because like I tell people all the time, it does you zero good to be able to speak a language and then the people around you don't speak it. It's a waste of your time. So, but it should have been Yisrael. And I get on a lot of the brothers about this. You say you deep, you say you understand the language, but you don't say Yisrael. You don't say Dawad. You say Shalom. You got that down pat. You might even say Bokatah. You got that down pat. But the idea is we have to be able to speak in sentences to one another. Now, hold on. Let me get back to the subject. I'm starting to stray. So these Assyrians are deporting the Israelites. You see, they got to be Israelites because remember, the scriptures say, you alone have I known out of all the people on the earth. So here they go with their fringes on the borders of their garments. They got locks in their hairs. They got on the Phrygian cap. I know you don't know what that one is, but I hit you with something tonight. It's called the Phrygian cap. Go back and read the 2nd chapter Acts, and the book tells you that the brothers came down to Jerusalem doing Haggai Shabbat. Anybody that know Hebrew know what I just said. Haggai Shabbat mean what? Feast of Weeks, which is called Pentecost, which is 50 days. That's what the Greeks called the Pentecost, but in the Hebrew scriptures, it's called Haggai Shabbat, or Feast of Weeks. And so this is what the Israelites look like going into the Assyrian captivity. There you have it. Now, this came from the palace, I think it was the palace of Nimrod down in Iran, Iraq. But of course, all of our history and our artifacts are either at the British Museum, the Louvre Museum in Paris, France, the Pergamon Museum in Germany. So all these Gentiles or these white nations have all our history. They got all our real history inside their museums, and they give us the watered down version. So this is what Israel looked like going into the captivity. Let me see what else I got for you. Now, remember, I'm going to go back for a second. Remember this name right here? Let me see. Let me make sure I got it on the screen, though. I'm getting better at this. Yep, it's on the screen already. Get back on up there. Get back up there. Now, remember, we talked about Gad. Here he is. Gamil Dalet, Gad. Now, Gad was part of the 10 tribes. It was part of Israel, or Yisrael. He's mentioned on this stone in 800 to 850. I say anywhere from 825. This because it fluctuates this timeline. So 850 to 750 BC. This is Gad. Now watch this. This is going to amaze you because this amazed me. Here is an artifact. Here's an artifact. Let me go back over here. Here's an artifact that made its way, now Gad's name, made its way to Nigeria. I told you, see, they should have stayed. These brothers are from Iri, Akweledi, Mirdi, one of the oldest Igbo tribes in Nigeria. The Iri tribe traces its lineage back to Iri, the son of Gad, the son of Jacob. Not only does this tribe have a temple dedicated to Gad, but they also have an ox stone with Gad's name on it. And I want to read you that scripture in the book of Numbers. These brothers trace their lineage all the way back to the son of Yaqub, or the son of Jacob. Numbers. You know, I was going to give up tonight when I was trying to get in. You know what I said? I said, man, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I was going to do it anyway because I got to get used to doing this. You know what I mean? Numbers 26 and 16. And I'm actually having fun. Numbers 26 and 16. I'm gonna pick it up where it talks about Gad. First, we'll pick up at verse 15. Numbers 26 and 15. The children of Gad, after their families of Zephon, the family of the Zephonites, of Haggai, the family of the Haggites, of Shuni, the family of the Shunites, of Ozni, the family of the Oznites, of Eri, the family of the Irites. So the word is Eri, E-R-I. And that same name appears here. Now, what is the coincidence that it also appears in the book of Acts? The book of Numbers, and it appears in West Africa. But I want to show you something else that'll show you that these brothers knew what they was talking about. This is not as far-fetched as the Anglo-Saxons or the Ashkenazis would have you to believe, because something peculiar happened on the day of Pentecost. I'm almost done with this lesson too. If you go back to Acts and you pick it up at the 2nd chapter, and it says, I'm going to pick it up. I'm not going to read all this because some of you all are scholars. You shouldn't want to be read to anyway. Acts 2:1. And when the day of Shavuot, Haggai, but your Bible don't say that. It says when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all in one accord in one place. So they was down in Jerusalem. It says, verse 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Yahudas, or Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. There were no Gentiles in Jerusalem on the day of Pentecost. Why? Because they had not been accepted into the church yet, y'all. Don't let nobody fool you with that. The Gentiles took over the church on the day of Pentecost. Why would they be in Jerusalem if they had never been admitted to the church? Cornelius was the first Gentile to come into the church, according to the apostle Peter, who Yeshua gave the keys of the kingdom to. But I want to show you where they came from. Verse 8. How hear we every man in our own tongue wherein we were born? 9. Parthians and Medes, Elamites and dwellers in Mesopotamia and in Judea and Cappadocia, in Pontus, in Asia. And look at verse 10. In Phrygia. But I don't want that. I want this right down here. It says, in Pamphylia, in Egypt, in the parts of Libya, about Cyrene. Now, why is Libya so critical to this conversation? Libya is critical to the conversation because if you go back and look at the maps from the 1900s, no, that's incorrect. If you go back and look at the Strabo map and the Herodotus map was 500 BC. It was only 3 continents listed. It was Libya, it was Europe and Asia. Libya was the ancient name of Africa. The word Africa did not exist. The word Africa didn't come about until after Scipio, the Roman general, Scipio Africanus, defeated Hannibal at the Battle of Carthage. And he started calling Carthage Africanus after the Roman general. Then the name spread throughout Africa. But as late as 30 AD, Peter and them didn't know that name. The only name they knew was Libya. In fact, I'm going to deviate for a second. Man, we got some stand-up people online. I'm going to deviate from this for 5 seconds. Hey, man, real talk. That was a real response, man. We got them. They are on the run, doing damage control. Check this out. I want to deviate. I'm going to see if I can find this because it's not part of the lesson, but I do this when I teach on Shabbat. I do the same thing. Let me see, map. Check this out. I'm going to see if I can find my map. Here it is right here. I like this one. But it's my Herodotus map, 450. And I want to prove to you, see, Libya was the ancient name of Africa. That people know this. And so when the seminary and all these other places, when they was calling themselves teaching the scriptures to our people, they knew that Libya was the ancient name of Africa, but they never told us. So they had us thinking, let me see, image. Let me see. Come on, man. Come on back here. Hold on. I got something y'all gonna like. Y'all gonna love this. Stop screen image file. Invite guest. Stop screen image file. No, I don't want that. I don't want this. I don't want that either. I'm trying to remove this. And then I want to add this. So let me try this. Stop screen. All right, let me go here. Let's see if this will let me do it. What I want to do is I want to show you guys this map. I hope you are recording this. I'll show y'all this map from 500 BC that only recorded 3 continents. This is 500. Yeah, these both 500 BC, so ain't nothing I could do about it. Add to stage. Now look at this map. This map right here, remember, we got Gad in West Africa, and we got, remember what we just saw. The brother was from the Erie tribe, and the Erie tribe stated that their DNA or the genealogy traces all the way back to Yaqub or Jacob. Now, why would they be in West Africa? Peter just said in the 2nd chapter of Acts that Yahudas or Jews came up from Libya on the day of Pentecost. Well, Libya was the ancient name of Africa. Look at the date on this map. It's 450 BC. That date is 450 BC, y'all. That's real talk. So they only knew there wasn't no 7 continents. There was 3 continents. Libya, which is Africa at the time, Europe, and Asia. And now that you know this, you scholars out there, check this out. Now when you go back and read the prophecies in the Old Testament, you see Libya, your understanding should be open that you're looking at Africa in prophecy. So on the day of Pentecost, the brothers came up out of Africa. Why? Because they had been living down there. That ain't the lesson today. I just want to add that. I just want to add that to the piece. Now let's go back. Let's get back to the. Let's get back because we're almost done. I want to get back to this. Go back to this. Let me see. Where's my screen? I'm gonna go back to this. I don't want that. I want this. Add to stage. I want to remove this. I want to add this. All right, we're back on our stage. We got the piece back up. Now check this out, y'all. And we're gonna get, I think, one more piece after this. Now look. So when them what do you call them Anglo-Saxon missionaries went down into Nigeria, and they saw this Obu Gad. If you know Hebrew, what is Obu? Abu or Abba, Abu, Alif Bet Wal. It's interchangeable. It means my father or his father. The wall is his and him as a suffix. Abu Gad, his father Gad. You know them Catholics understood this. See, y'all got to understand what happened to us. We've been taught by people that didn't want us to know the truth. They was terrified of us knowing the truth. I'll tell you something that's equally amazing. They are terrified of you learning your father's alphabet. Terrified. Because the original translation, there's nothing like it. So anyway, make a long story short, I'm almost done. I want you to hear a statistic. 60% of all African Americans in the United States are descended from the Igbos of Nigeria. The Igbos are the tribe Gad. Erie come from the Igbo. And I tell you what, you got another group of family members down there called the Yorubas. But right now, I just want to show you, 60% of all Hebrews in America are descended, have relatives that were descended from the Igbos. And I always like to write little notes to myself so that I don't miss nothing. Gad Igbo was relocated to Virginia and Maryland during the North Atlantic slave trade. Try that one. And the brothers in Virginia, they different than the rest of the guys. The brothers in Detroit, Chicago, New York, we Judah, we act the same. But you can start seeing in the different states the way the brothers are acting. You can tell these are different tribes. I only got the proof for Gad, Benjamin, Judah, and Levi. I got a lesson I do where we break out the ship's manifest. I wrote the only book that provides that. They show you where Israel was put, but that ain't the lesson today. I got to get out of here. I'm tripping. I done got to the point I'm not even supposed to be doing that kind of lesson. It's in me, guys. Hold on. We're almost done. Oh, now this right here is a treat. I set this up, this last little slide. This is not for me. This is for any scholar that's out there. Now, I wrote a secret. And I wrote the secret in Aramaic Hebrew, but I also did you a favor if you're out there. I separated the prefixes and the suffixes from the word. So you got a word, hey sapan or hey tasapan. I'm not going to tell you what it means. Ma al hey ka. I'm not going to tell you what it means. I separate your prefix here, separate your suffix. So you can just, all you had to do is focus on the word. I was you, I would use chat. Chat pretty smart. Me and chat, we argue a lot. I know that sounds stupid. I'd be arguing with AI. I'd be like, no, chat, you wrong. Chat be like, well, I can see what you're trying, I can see what you're saying. I said, chat, stop focusing on what you and focus on the subject at hand. So after a while, you have to ask yourself, are you psychotic? If you argue with AI, because chat will go toe to toe with you if you learn how to use it. Now, the next sentence, I separated your prefix from your word, separate your prefix from another word, so on and so forth. Sometimes you can have a combination of prefixes, two prefixes together in a word. Once you learn this, once you learn your father's alphabet in the language, you could attach 3 prefixes on the front of a word, 4 suffixes on the back of the word, and you have a small, almost like a small story. So I'm gonna leave this up for a few more seconds, another minute or two, so you can get a snapshot of the page. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. If you could translate this, I can't do that because it'd be too many people. I lose the books. You know what I mean? But I tell you what, the first person that translates this and contacts me back, I'll send you a book for free. So this is the thing. Somebody said, "Oh, well, you disappointed?" What I'm supposed to do? Give the bank away? I give you a book for free. So, and I'm going to be honest. So this is a little contest. Translate this, and then what I'll do is, what's today? Today is Wednesday. I'll do another live broadcast on Friday. I should be straight this time because I ironed out the kinks, and then we'll let you know who was first. And then what I'll do is I have somebody else judge the translations. But I wrote this just like an ancient scribe would have written it. So it's pretty exciting stuff. So I'm gonna leave it up for maybe 13 more seconds. Give you a shot at the title. The brother said, I can translate it. All right, so give me your translation. What does it mean? All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna call it a day. Uh-oh. Let me see. Wait a minute, somebody. Oh my God. Almost. Pretty good. That's real good. That first line is correct. The first line is correct. The secret of your God. That's pretty good. Somebody translate that second line. But if you got it, go ahead and get it. All right, y'all. I'm going to shut it down. Hey, thanks for coming out. Okay, everybody, I'm going to shut it down. We had a real good session, and looked like I ironed out the kinks. I'm going to start playing with this thing privately so I can make sure that going forward that I don't have the issues that I had tonight. So, like, if you haven't, I see a couple of the brothers got some of the books from the Negro question. Don't forget, I got a copy of the new book. It's in the vehicle though. But check this out. The new book I wrote is Genesis Volume 1. Y'all don't even have a picture on the screen. Shame on me. And this book is a 6-column book. That book will teach you how to read, write, translate, and speak Aramaic Hebrew. Check this out. This is the one, the book that, now this was the original that I wrote with the rough draft. But this book right here doesn't have the QR codes in it. The new book has QR codes written in it, or actually embedded in it. And these QR codes, once you click on those QR codes, it's going to take you. You'll click on the QR code, and you'll come down into the classroom with me. And if you don't come down in the classroom with me, what you'll end up doing is you'll end up in a classroom with a college professor, or you'll end up with a curator from a major museum around the world. So, go to the bookstore, buy the Negro Question, Genesis Volume 1. It's an interactive book. There's nothing like it on the market. It's going to teach you how to read, write, translate, and speak. You should be speaking Hebrew in a matter of days. You should be in sentence form in a matter of months. And then I'm gonna kick that class back on. But right now, I want y'all to let everybody know that we're going live. Look for me live. Definitely on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock. I'll be there definitely on Wednesday nights at 7. So for now, let's do it like this. Every Wednesday at 7. That's all I got. I want to thank everybody that came out. It was a blessing. I think somebody else, did nobody else? The first line was correct. Oh, here it is. That's me. Thanks for coming out. God bless you all. Shalom.